Hello and welcome to something a bit different. I have always liked Bard's Tale 3 the most out of the Bard's Tale trilogy, and I have never gotten around to see what they've done with the remaster. Not entirely true, I've seen parts of it with only the early stages of the remaster. So here I was thinking, I sort of want to see what they've done with it, so why not make a video series? It's probably going to be dull, boring, whatever, but well, it's a game appreciation channel I'm running, and well, I can sort of put up the content that I like. And then if people enjoy it, that's cool, and if they don't, that's got to be cool as well. For reference, I have the game is set up in such a way that ideally you would be playing Bard's Tale 1, then transfer characters to Bard's Tale 2, and then complete Bard's Tale 2 and transfer characters to Bard's Tale 3. If you start Bard's Tale 3 with a brand new party, you're not going to get very far. You need characters of a certain power level in order to do the first quest, which is mandatory in order to be allowed to progress. You will not be allowed to progress at all before you've done the first quest. Now, the first quest is not entirely easy. It requires a certain amount of power in order to be able to complete it because of the opponent you have to face off against and because of his location. I'm sure you could look up a teleport code and just teleport directly to him, but we're not going to do that. That's not part of the fun. Because one of the things that I mentioned in the Bard's Tale trilogy overview video was that I love what they've done with the auto mapping, and by going through every single square in the different dungeons, you probably see things that you wouldn't even be aware of as part of the original games, because you wouldn't have, even though you were drawing your own maps, you wouldn't necessarily have any encouragement to go in certain areas, unless of course you wanted to map everything on paper. But because of the in-game map, you could probably find things you weren't even aware of was put in the game at some point by some designers in order for you to find. So we will be able to do that. But anyway, because of the fact that there's an awful lot of grind involved, I have a game running where I have bypassed the grind. You will see for yourself when I load it. And I actually took the grind further than I intended to. But enough about that. I will set up the game, show which legacy options I have chosen, because I have chosen some of them, and then run to the quest giver and give you an idea of what's going on. So, Leaf of Fate, the third volume. Of legacy options I have enabled, because I have enabled some of them. Individual inventory. It is more or less a nuisance. The shared inventory and shared gold in the remaster, even I was about to say remaster, is a quality of life, and I'm perfectly happy with that. So that one would be disabled. Miscellaneous game differences. It's mainly the items and spells adjusted to match each game that causes me to have that one enabled. Game-specific songs. I fail to see why I would have Bard's Tale 1 and 2 songs in my Bard's Tale 3 game, so that has been disabled as well. Use the unequipped items. I couldn't care less either way. I just left it on, but it doesn't bother me at all. Automap disabled has definitely been switched off, because that's sort of the part of the reason why for me playing this version of the game is to map things. So without the in-game automap, that would sort of be counterintuitive. Full XP requirements. It may seem a bit wonky to make things harder for myself, but as I've played Bard's Tale 3 quite extensively, even though 30 years ago, I have a certain feeling for the flow of XP gain. So I have kept that enabled. The save at guild only is something I have left disabled, because one thing that is very common in all Bard's Tale 3 games, Bard's Tale games, Bard's Tale games, is sometimes you will run into a group of monsters that will absolutely demolish you, and there's nothing you can do about it. If your spellcasters are not getting their spells off before the monsters are, you are getting blown to smithereens. Losing 2-3 hours of gameplay because of a random group you can't run from gets their spells off before your casters is not fun. You can call that a coward-like approach, but you know what? I'm getting too old for that kind of crap. I will try not to abuse it too much, but they've enabled a quick save option, and I will probably use that somewhat extensively. It's just the randomness of the encounters that you face. Early on in the game, a group of monsters called Gore Suckers, and they have the spell Dragon Breath as an innate ability. You face 4 of them with a low-level party, you get demolished. There's nothing you can do. They will just all 4 of them will just spam Dragon Breath on your party, and you can just see them die. Nothing you can do. So definitely not enabled. No items in empty houses. I kept it enabled just in case of flavor text. It doesn't make much difference. So I will let the introduction play and then get further into what I've done. Volume 3, Thief of Fate. As I lay dying, I leave this record so those who come after will know what horrors that the mad god Tarjan has perpetrated, and so that they will not be lulled into believing that Scarbray was his sole target. We held a great festival to celebrate the victory over Mangar. Then Mangar's master, the mad god Tarjan, arrived. His shadow ravaged the city, and foul creatures burst forth to assault fair Scarbray. People ran, but Tarjan's minions left none untouched. Tarjan gloated that Scarbray was merely one in a series of conquests that would complete his revenge. He laughed when I promised that the legendary Hawkslayer and those who defeated Mangar would return again to triumph. As payment for my threat, he gave a swift twist of his dual sword into my belly. Tarjan must be stopped, for upon this rests the fate of more than Scarbray, more than Keith. Failure will mean the extinction of all life, save for the wretched Tarjan and his servile parasites. Pray for success and life renewed. Hawkslayer is an NPC you bump into in Bard's Tale 2, by the way, and yeah. So, because we skipped Bard's Tale 2, we're not going to bump into him. I'm just wondering, are these... Nope. My old team is not here. What a shame. I've created a group of characters, you know, I'm not going to... You look like a beefy type. Can we remove you? No? What we can do is we can remove the member here. Go away. Remove. Here we are. Let's enter the wilderness. And then I should know the way now. Ha. Go behind here, go through here. Go there, oops, there, then north. And that should take us straight to the gates of Skara Brae. And now we just need to find the review board. I'm going the wrong way because I'm skilled. Nope, no, run away, please. Here we are. The review board. The old man in the review board scratches his head. Yes, you are the prophesized ones, or should I say one, but you have come too early. No matter. Beneath Scarbray, you will find one of Tarjan's devotees. Bilhasti Tarj is a foul necromancer, and his life impedes my efforts to stave off disaster. You may enter the catacombs under the Mad God's temple by uttering his master's name, Tarjan. Destroy Bilhasti Tarj, then return to me for your true quest. So, that is the premise. Bilhasti Tarj, outside of having a super cool bad guy name, is quite powerful, and he's in a location which is quite powerful, a very strong area. He's hidden in, and he has a very bad habit of summoning dark guards, which can cast an archmage spell called Flame Column. And he can summon 4 dark guards, and they can utterly obliterate your party in seconds. Good fun. The game, all 3 games are like throwing those situations at you. If you transfer a level 40, whatever party it will be, from Bard Sale 2 to Bard Sale 3, it's a foregone conclusion. You go down, you demolish him, whoop, things done. If you, like me, start a new party, you don't just do that. You can't do that. It's impossible. But something that's important to note even, is the mages or the caster classes. You have multiple caster classes available. You start with the base of Magician or Conjurer, then you can switch. After gaining 3 spell levels, you can switch to Sorcerer. After gaining 3 spell levels in that, you can switch to Wizard. After gaining 3 spell levels in Wizard, you can switch to Archmage. Ideally, you want to get as many spell levels as possible because it makes the character stronger and it gives you access to more spell points, which of course is what drives spells in Bard's Tale. There's a special caster. There's 2 special casters, but one of them is not relevant for the moment. There's one specific special caster called a Chronomancer, and you will need a Chronomancer. It is not optional. Maybe it's just me, but I'm fairly sure in the old games you could switch to a Chronomancer before having killed Bilhasti Tarj. Apparently that is not the case, and I was doing the necessary grind to qualify for Chronomancer, which is 3 Archmage spell levels. Yeah, it was quite a bit of a grind. I was hoping to get a Chronomancer, then go down and kill Bilhasti Tarj, because there's a certain reward that your party gains for killing him, which would benefit a Chronomancer. But as I said, apparently I cannot make the Chronomancer before having done the quest. It's just a bit of a bummer. But let us load the game, which I have called Let's Explore. right outside the viewer board, and you can probably see there's a slight difference. Our characters are the main characters are level 15. I have a paladin, a monk, a rogue, and a bard. Don't play Bard Sail without a bard, can't recommend it. And then I started with 2 conjurers and 1 magician. The conjurers turned to magicians, the magicians turned to conjurer, and then after going through all the spell levels there, I went to sorcerer, gained all the spell level in sorcerer because of a specific spell called preclusion, which has a chance, an 80% chance to prevent enemies from summoning stuff, which is the key, in my opinion, to defeating Bilhasti. If he can't summon his dark guards, they can't toss flame columns at you. So that is usually my minimum for grinding in order to get access to that spell. But because, as I said, I want to try and get a Chronomancer, I made one of my casters an Archmage and gained the necessary spell levels, but she cannot change to Chronomancer. Bummer. Anyway, I can showcase them quickly. You can see Conjurer 7, Magician 7, Sorcerer 7, Wizard 5. She will be exactly the same, and then of course El Kasab, because I was going for Archmage in order to qualify for Chronomancer. I skipped. I did the first 2 base levels and 4 for Sorcerer, 3 for Wizard, and 3 for Archmage. As you can probably see, the experience requirement for Archmages is quite high, and I didn't want to have to go through Sorcerer, Wizard, and then deal with gaining Archmage spell levels as well. But if we go into the review board and we do a class change, there's no class you can change to. So that was a bit of a bummer. Here I was hoping that I could get a Chronomancer going, but for reference, if we look at the journal, if I can remember where it is, I could just hit the J key. Catacombs, I completed the Catacombs in order to, because of course the old man in the review boards said to mention the Dark Gods, or the Mad God's name, Tarjan, and was it? Oh yeah, of course we get that down below. No, not on the way. The tunnels. Where is it? Yeah, written in blood are large letters which spells out chaos. That is the word you need to utter to the priest in order to get access to Unterbray. And this is what I've done. This has been my grind path. It marks encounters, and because we are using the old XP system, we can exit the place, go back in, and do these encounters again. And there was a specific encounter type that I ended up triggering. I could probably cut my grind time down by quite a bit if I'd done that earlier, but it can be a pain, because if you go down a level and go back up a level, all fixed encounter squares will have encounters, all the traps will be back up again. But if you don't have the original XP requirement, these will not be there, as far as I can understand. But anyway, the aim is to enter here and map the rest of the area, get the necessary information, then go downstairs, and I'm fairly sure it is 4 levels. But that is the whole point of this video series, and that's why I've warned that it may be rather boring. The shade of the wind's home will make you free. That's probably what you can say to the priest in order to get access to another level. Shade. Hint, hint. But anyway, I want to maybe not explore every single individual square, but the aim is to explore as much as possible. That's the whole point of playing the remaster, and that will be the whole point even of making a video series. Because of the power of our casters, part of the track is going to be relatively easy. But, and this is something that's important. If you look at something like my main wizard, he's got 26 levels on him. 26 spell levels, which means that he would be effectively level 49. Because it requires 13 levels, 13 levels, 13 levels, which is 39, and he's level 10. There's an awful lot of monsters, even at this stage, still act ahead of the other characters. The casters can act earlier, but most monsters will act before. So, even with this relatively high power, the game is going to be challenging. I will probably run from a lot of encounters, but we'll see how it goes. There was something I should remember, yeah. When you level up in this game, you get a stat point. I had rolled my characters with the highest base stats they could get in their two most important stats. So, in the case of the Paladin, was 17 Strength and 14 Constitution. My Monk was 18 Strength and 16 Constitution. The stats you get at level up can be rather random, and just to showcase it, my strongest character is my Gnome Archmage at 26 Strength. Don't ask. If I haven't mentioned it, I'm sure I haven't. Alcazab. I had a dear friend which passed 16 years ago, and when he played Bard's Tale 3 many years ago on the Amiga, he made a gnome caster called Alcazab, and in memory of him, I have named my third caster Alcazab. That's another thing that I could mention quickly, I should mention quickly. You can play with 6 characters and have 1 slot available for special characters, but in truth, because one of these will have to be a Chronomancer, you cannot get around not getting a Chronomancer. You can't progress in the game if you haven't got a Chronomancer. And the Chronomancer, once you turn them into a Chronomancer, will lose all these spells here. They're gone. Poof. The reasoning given that they need to focus so much on their own magic that they cannot contain the knowledge of the other mage classes, but you still need to go through the mage classes in order to qualify for Chronomancer. So basically, if you were to run a 2-caster setup, you would have 1 main caster and your Chronomancer. Don't get me wrong, the Chronomancer at high levels get some obscenely powerful spells, but because of the combat involved in this game, and because of the amount of it in this game, and because your frontliners, they are just not going to be enough to make much of a dent in anything. You need a lot of artillery firepower from mages, and just having 1 caster and a Chronomancer, I don't feel it's enough. And that is why I'm running a triple caster setup. But you see, there's one thing, if I can showcase it, I will quickly showcase before ending this video, in case you decide you want to play this game and you need to do a similar grind. So, I mean, if you play through the trilogy and transfer the characters at maximum power, shouldn't be an issue. But let's say you are willing to start playing Bard's Tale 3 with a new party. You have to gain a certain amount of levels before you can pull it off, and I wouldn't recommend going into Chaos early. You would get crushed. But as you can see, these sword markers are encounter squares. There will always be an encounter here. Don't want to fight these. I'm looking for one specific enemy type. don't want to fight these either. So a bit of fancy editing will sort this out. Death Hounds. You can see we are facing 1 Phantom Champ and 3 Death Hounds. Death Hounds will call for help. We have 3 at the moment. I mean, 3 is nothing. The Phantom Champ will advance, and he will happily advance. I think it's up to 50 feet. So we can just fight bravely, get him out of the way, just attack out in the air. He will act before our melee characters, so that's perfectly fine. As you can see. Now we suddenly have 5 Death Hounds, right? So let's fight again and just defend and see if they... Six, 8, 9. Okay. And again. They will advance before any of your characters respond, so as you can see, we start with 4, we're up to 12 now. 92. They will probably start advancing now, yeah. Would be nice having a full group of 99, but if they get to 30 feet, I will stop them. Okay, they are now at 30 feet. 92 will have to do. Of course, this requires that you have a spell that will take care of them. And because if you level a magician and a conjurer at the same time, you should have access to Ice Storm. These are vulnerable to cold attacks. Ice Storm has an effect of a range, say, of 50 feet, but I want to give them more chance to summon up so you could get a good full group of 99 of them. But isn't that... Yep, Magician level 7. Pummel group of monsters with chunks of ice, causing 20 to 80 points of damage. Defend, yes. So, let's just hold down spacebar, because that should obliterate. Some of them may repel it, but I don't think it would be many. And you see, instead of running around fighting random encounters with 2-3 enemies here, getting 3,000-4,000 experience here and there, if you can get rid of them, fighting these, as you can see, 44,085 experience. I wish I'd done that much earlier than I ended up doing, but that's a huge chunk of experience on enemy types that you can obliterate in seconds. Just because a bit of patience, and remember we started with 4 of them, we ended up with 92. The largest you can get in a single group is 99, and they will not spill into other groups. You can be lucky and have 2 groups, but one of them usually summons and the other one starts advances on you, so it's very, very hard to get 2 groups of 99, but 92 of them with an extra enemy end up giving 44,000 experience. It is definitely worth being aware of in case you find yourself wanting or needing to grind in this game. So, come on, please. I just want to showcase that in this part, and then when we come back, we will start making some progress through Unterbray and work our way down towards the Brilhasti Uptarch. So, as for now, thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.